week in racing. It's time to recap it. And who better to do it than Michael and Magic? Two bros/pros who cover the highs and lows of racing around the globe on every one of the shows. Real fans look forward to these guys and their last stunts, cause they know they're not talking out of their royal ascot. What they say makes sense. So ladies and gents, sit back and relax as Blinkers Off presents The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 391. Mr. Somich.
Huzzah!
Looking like Magic Mike After Dark over there for you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. The lighting in here is shit in this basement, so I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do it is right now. And right now, the best way to do it is turning off all the lights.
I mean, it's making you look like we talked before about when you were going to Florida. You were supposed to get this. You look like 18 shades darker and you're in upstate New York. I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Well, this is actually the tan color that I look like. The light was just washing it out. I just couldn't accept it. I needed my tan to come through. That's why we're rocking this lighting now.
Seeing everybody in the chat. Good to see everybody. Nick Feldman brings up, yeah, your buddy Smoking Jay showed up, and Mike, a bad effort. Not the horse's fault. Once again, not the horse's fault.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating because like when you play back horses and you're playing them off bad trips, you kind of hope they don't get the exact same trip again. And that pretty much is what happened. He broke poorly, kind of rushed up, stuck to the inside, never had a chance to run until later in the lane. Didn't really have much kick anyway, so I'm not sure how much of a difference it would have made. But like, it's one of those where you're like, this is a terrible trip off a terrible trip. Do you just kind of chase the horse, or does the horse make his own luck in this case? It's a closer. Often the closers can make their own luck, and sometimes they're just gonna get bad trips. Like you think about Set Piece in one of the feature races, I think it was on Saturday, where if Set Piece got an awful trip, but you're a deep closer trying to go through on the rail, what do you think's going to happen? It's just going to part like the Red Sea. So a little frustrating with the effort. Like obviously the break was less than wonderful. So it's one of those horses where now I'm going to have to watch it. I'm going to keep it as a stabled up horse, but I'm going to make sure the price is right. I mean, that was the biggest knock today. Yeah. The price got down to 3-1 at one point. I'm like, I want this horse at 8-1, 10-1, because there is a chance you're going to have that trip trouble from a closer, and you're not as accomplished as some of these other horses in the race. You kind of have to demand the value on those type of horses.
Well, luckily, we have 2 turf sprints on today's sequence, Mike, so we get to really sit here and figure out who gets to have the best trip trouble and best trips in general. By the way, shout out to Nick Feldman. In Italian, you and Katie Page both called out in Italian in live chat, so I want to give you both a heads up. Don't remember who did what on which show, but I know Nick was one and Katie was the other, so congrats. She finally got to run longer, and that was a big difference. And looking back, Mike, I really don't understand how we didn't see this coming. It's a daughter of Dubois. He's stretching out to 9 furlongs for the first time and was the fastest one in the field early.
Yeah, but I said, I tweeted this out. I was shocked. This is the first time I was shocked at Saratoga was when In Italian won. And it wasn't because In Italian won. It's how In Italian won. And she went 22 and change, 45 and change, and never even stopped for a second. She ran 12s the rest of the way. What are you supposed to do? Like, I mean, the fact that In Italian set a course record is to me what was shocking, not the fact that she won. And that's obviously I didn't necessarily put that in the tweet, but that's what they meant by it. Like, she was a logical horse in that sense if you thought she could get loose. But if she got loose at 24-48 and wins, okay, totally get it, right? But getting loose, going 22-45 and being able to just kind of keep going was phenomenal. Just a great performance. But she's been running against some good horses and showing like a good version of herself. And the distance was a positive.
The next race for her, Chad Brown says she's going to take some time off and target the First Lady Stakes at Keeneland in October, and that's a 1-mile route that ends up being a win, and you're in for the Filly Mare Sprint. Filly Mare Turf. And both of that race, Breeze Cup, is also going to be at Keeneland, so that's a big reason she's coming back. But the Filly Mare Turf is a mile and 3/16 race, so just under the distance that she set the course record at Saratoga. So I'm going to make a prediction now. She's going to go to the First Lady Stakes. She's going to get waxed probably by Regal Glory, her stablemate, and then she's going to go to the Filly Mare Turf. We're all going to forget about her again, and then she's going to stretch out to a mile and 3/16 and do well. So watch out for her when she goes back to the Breeders' Cup.
She needs to be a price. I mean, that because she's been beaten by some very good horses, but she needs to be a price for me. That 8-1 number, I think that really is what was important here if you're looking at betting her. Also, like the Saratoga Turf course is lightning quick right now. I mean, some of the times that were being posted, obviously you mentioned this was a course record. Big Invasion ran very, very fast, just missed breaking the course record the next day on Sunday. So you had some monster efforts that happened over this turf course, and you had some like 2-year-olds that were going I think it was like 104 for 5.5. And like, that's fast. Like that. So you have some of these spots where we haven't had rain at all until today. It's rained all day today. So there's going to be a little bit of moisture in the track for Wednesday on the turf course. The dirt will be fast. It's not supposed to rain tomorrow, but it had not rained in a long time. So that rain is going to soften it up a little bit. Maybe you'll see a little bit slower times, but speed was generally fairly good. And man, that turf course was quick this weekend.
Yeah, there were a lot of fast times, including, like you mentioned, a record time here for 9 furlongs. But you've had good weather conditions for it, and we'll see how things progress. Hopefully, we're gonna have good weather. I know it's been a little iffy today in Saratoga, but hopefully by Wednesday we're still on the turf course. I think so. But we got a lot of fun races here. So, ready to talk about some Saratoga?
Let's do it, baby.
Riders up.
If you're going to be betting Saratoga, make sure you do it over at BetPTC.com. Sign up with promo codes DUDES. Get a $200 bonus after you spend $750 on the site. Promo code DUDES, DUDES, when you sign up for BetPTC, home of the instant rebate. So right after you bet, you get money back, which is kind of awesome. You get anywhere from, I think it's like 2% up to 10%, depending on the track and the bet. Right back when the race goes official, goes right back into your account, so you can fire away with it right away. And then also make sure it's on Saturdays you check out the King of the Hill promotion where you can win a free $10,000 BCBC seat. All of it over at betptc.com. Sign up for the promo code DUDES for $200.
They've been really nice. They're not legal in California yet, and I wish they were, because this past weekend I think my losses at Saratoga have been dampened a little bit by some of those rebates. Because I had a couple hits, definitely not nearly enough. We'll see if we can do better today. First leg, late pick 5 at Saratoga on Wednesday, July 20th. Mike, race 6. We got a field of 7 older horses going 6 furlongs on the main track. All of these horses in for 40K tags. I honestly thought this is one of the toughest open 40K claiming races I've ever tried to handicap. Where'd you go on top here?
I mean, it was, first off, I want to just real quick, this comment from Michael Olson, 0 for 6 to 6 5s. It's tough out there right now, man. Like I tweeted about this too, how like you got to string your 4th or 5th or 6th picks together and be able to kind of find ways to nail your opinions. And that's what you've got to have a single somewhere. You got to be able to spread. And when you're spreading, you got to be right. And it's tough to go too deep in these races and feel confident. And that's really the hardest part when you're playing this kind of stuff. I was fortunate enough to hit the pick 5 for the bombs on Saturday. So that definitely helped out. Cashed a little over $1,000 so far at Saratoga. So that was nice. Win bets are your friend. I want to make sure I stress that. We're going to cover a pick 5 sequence here. Win bets and daily doubles are your friend. That is how I bet quite a bit. I'm down a few $100 for the meet after one weekend, and I'm pretty happy with it. I hit a couple win bets. I had a double. I had a couple chances at bigger scores as well. But you got to be taking advantage of the single race odds when you find it, and you got to be playing your best bets. We've been doing best bets over at every month, Wednesday through Sunday. We've got the Dudes Who Bet Daily Show. I was fortunate to hit best bets on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That definitely helped out my overall weekend. But that finding what races and horses you like and playing them to win really helps cover those pick 5s and pick 4 sequences, which are really tough to string together 2nd, 3rd, or 4th picks.
Yeah, like Nick says, it really only takes a couple here. It's like the tournament plays, right? Anytime 8-1 saved the meet so far. She kind of tanked mine a little bit, or helped tank mine. She wasn't the only reason. But Sunday was good. I wish that I had played. I wasn't watching in real time. I thought for sure Big Invasion, the quick call, was going to be 3-5, 4-5, and I didn't want to put a big win bet on him. So I played the exact. Should just played the big win bet on him, because boy, did he look pretty good.
Yeah, he looked awesome, man. All right. Anyway, to answer your question, on top, give me our old friend Wendell Fong. I can't quit this horse. I can't quit this horse. I've quit this horse for a long time, but I'm not going to quit this horse in this spot. This is the first time that Wendell Fong is properly placed in a really, really long time. We've been in allowances. We've been in overnight stakes. We've been in graded stakes. We're in the claiming ranks now. And not only that, we're in the claiming ranks where there is a ton of speed here. So that, to me, is the big key here. You've got the 2 Coppertown that wants to go. The 5 Aristocratic wants to go. Happy Farm's got speed. You're going to see a pretty hot pace out front. One of my main factors when handicapping this race was I want to look for horses that are coming from off the pace. To me, the 4 Wendell Fong is one of those horses. And I think at 4-1, it's one of those that is a win bet candidate for me, depending if we get anywhere near that when the race actually goes off.
Boy, I wanted to try and put this horse out. If you don't know, Wendell Fong is it's a reference. It's a very obscure reference to Frazier, which is already at this point, 2022, kind of obscure. But I love this horse because of that. The owner's a big Frazier fan. I'm a big fan of Chad Summers. I couldn't put this horse on there, Mike. There are a lot of reasons to like him. And like I said, I thought this was a really tough open 40K claiming race. Thank you, Saratoga. So pretty much any of these horses, if you like them, I'm not going to try and talk you off. My top pick is going to be the 5 Aristocratic. First off, the claim for Robert Falcone Jr. First of all, Mike, I think this is the fastest horse in the field. Could possibly go gate to wire in an angle that you taught me that you like. Horses who showed speed going slightly longer, so 6.5 furlongs. The last 2 races was setting the pace. Now cuts back to 6 furlongs. Rosario is riding through the claim from Charlie Baker to Robert Falcone Jr. Horses, 6 of his 9 career wins have been at 6 furlongs. 6 for 24 at 6 furlongs, as opposed to 3 for 24 at all other distances. So this is the right spot for him. Falcone's really great off the claim because he spots horses really well too. So all of those, I love the fact that the 5 coming back to 6. This is his good spot. He's over 3 at Saratoga. Maybe we can break that goose egg on Wednesday.
Yeah, I agree with you. Fastest horse in the field. I don't love the fact that this is a horse that's been hanging out in lower level claimers, but 40,000 seems like it's a fine level. I think Aristocratic clears. The question is whether or not he wins. He, to me, is the 1 speed that you want to be using here. So I am using the 5 as well on my ticket. Ended up 4 deep here. I'm going to go to the rail for my next pick, the 1 horse, Prince James. Look, when David Donk gets hot, you just don't fade him. And when Jose Ortiz is riding for David Donk, generally it means the horse is live. I also think this was a sneaky good claim. If you go back and you look at where this horse was claimed out of, they dropped in, took $40,000 off the Atras barn, but did it in a 1.16 race. Just draw a line through that race. First off, 235 comes back and wins next time out. So that was actually a pretty good 1.16 race. Secondly, this horse doesn't want to go a 1.16. Like, it's just not the right distance here. If you go back and you look at some of the 6 furlong efforts, this horse has tactical speed and actually does pass horses at the end of the race. And that, to me, is a huge key here. You're going to be close to that pace duel that I believe is going to transpire, but you're going to have some type of kick. If you look at the races at the race, I think it's 5 back at Aqueduct, and a $62,000 N2X, the horse closes from 4th up to 2nd, ends up just missing. If you look at the race 3 back at Belmont going 6 furlongs, we're in 4th, we close up to 2nd again. Now, we didn't win either of those races. This horse doesn't win as much as I would like. A lot of seconds in that line, but at 10-1 to kick up a pick 5, which my ticket's only $48. I feel like this is one of those horses you kind of have to include.
Boy, I went back and forth on this horse. I ended up not using, but you make a lot of great points. Donk's hot so far. The 2 wins were both on turf, and that's kind of where his bread and butter tends to be a little bit more, but it's still 11% on dirt, so he's not terrible with it. I agree with the point about the claim, too, that mile on the 16th, it's like he claimed it just to say, no, we're going to cut you back because you don't belong in this spot. I think they were trying to just see if they could get a stretch out sprinter to steal that race. And backfires pretty quickly on them. But returns here with Jose Ortiz, it definitely caught my attention. Let's go one just to the outside of that. The 2 horse would be my next play here. I only went 2 deep. Coppertown at 3-1. I'm going 3-1 with my 2 picks here, but this horse is just like the 5 is cutting back from 6.5 furlongs. I like this horse missed by a head at 6.5 furlongs, was claiming or was grinding up to try and get the win. Didn't get there, but Irad is now going to ride through the claim. Cantermasi is 22% first off the claim. He, like Falcone, properly spots his horses, and he's doing very well right now this year because he's like 235. That was a horse of his, so he's doing well when he spots them in these claiming ranks. So you combine the fact that Irad Ortiz Jr. has already ridden 3 of the last 5 starts, now through the claim. I know you're using this horse too. Did I miss any reason why you like him?
No, you hit it. I mean, this is one of those that to me just kind of fits at this level. I like the fact that Irad's riding through it, as you mentioned. Cantermasi is one of those trainers which I don't think gets enough love for the claiming game that he plays. When he claims the horse, you kind of have to pay attention. So I'll take the connections here at 3-1. I thought this was a tough race. I'm just hoping we can get through this one and be able to fade the favorite. Neither of us are using 6 Happy Farm, who I think we both believe will be the favorite, and it's going to be a little too short of a price to kind of include on these type of tickets.
Well, yeah, and on 3-2 zone, that race, you can look at it. 3-2 zone is like perfect, a 6.5, 7 furlongs to this rank. 6 furlongs, that's why 3-2 zone lost that. But then you see, he did go out and win next out. Happy Farm, to me, I thought just got the perfect setup. And if you look, the fact that his last 4 buyers, and really, like, you go back to May of last year, he's got 1 buyer that's less than 81. There's an 80, 280s, 387s, a 91 on there. I'm really afraid, like you, this horse is going to get way over bet for this scenario because he is not a 3-5, 4-5 even money horse against this group talent-wise. So I don't want to take that price.
Yep, nailed it.
Perfect. Let's move on. Second leg of the late pick 5 is Saratoga, Wednesday, July 20th, race 7. We've got 9 maiden fillies, 3 and up, sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the outer turf. First of 2 turf sprints. Mike, it's your bread and butter. Take it away.
Look, I'm kind of chalking out here a little bit. Like, give me the 2 crowding out here. The 2 horse, Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz, makes a ton of sense in this spot. This horse is one of the few 4-year-olds that is in this field That last race is good enough to win it. It was actually a pretty good race as well. Split and Double, Ogotten Girl, both pretty good horses here. The buyers are consistent. If you see any type of improvement from 3 to 4, this horse is going to be really, really tough to handle in this spot. Has tactical speed, has passed horses before. This is another one where if I get 3 to 1, I'm probably hammering a win bet in here, throwing in a $200 win bet, something like that, to try and take a shot here with the 2-horse crowding out, because I think it does just make a ton of sense.
I had to choose between the 2 and the 3, the way that my ticket was structured, Mike, and I split. I went with the 3. So I didn't use the 2, but I thought it had to come down to one of those 2. Chad Brown, if you look at, this is going to help your argument a little bit, Mike. If you look down on the form, it says Chad Brown's 10% in turf sprints. Specifically, 5.5 furlong turf sprints at Saratoga in the last 5 years. He's 22%. So forget what he's doing at Keeneland, at Belmont, at Gulfstream Park. When it comes to Saratoga for a 5.5 furlong turf sprint, he's 22%. I'm afraid that this horse just isn't really we're now 4 starts and we're hoping this is when the horse breaks the maiden, and 3 of them will be the 3rd one on turf. This doesn't feel like a horse that's really got a ton of talent for what he has in the barn. She's 4 years old. She could win, but I'm going to try and take a shot against her. Like I said, the 3 I'm going to use. I'll talk about her quick because then I went bombs away. You used the 3 as well, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so nearly 1 going with a furlong and a half longer on the front end. It seems she's better suited to come from off the pace. You look 2 back at Churchill Downs at this distance. For an example of that, I like that she debuted at Keeneland. Good effort in the loss to Shardy Party, who immediately won the Grade 3 Soaring Softly after that with an 85 buyer, so it backs that up. Pratt is going to stay here instead of riding the 7 for George Weaver a second time. Brad Cox is 3 for 8 to start the meet. A 4th runner hit the board. To me, that's just saying a smaller sample size compared to Chad Brown, but Brad Cox right now is just firing as well as anybody, and that's ultimately why I went with the 3 over the 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, I used both of them, and then I used a bomb here. I'm singling later, and so my ticket's pretty cheap. It allowed me to use a couple of horses here I may not generally use. I agree with you. I think 5.5 is the key here. The horse made the league go in 7 furlongs. It's interesting. You mentioned Chad Brown's turf sprinting numbers. A lot of those are established at Belmont, where there's turf sprinting, everything. Well, and Gulfstream, where 7.5 is considered a turf sprint. 7's anything under a mile is considered a sprint. So some of those numbers get a little messed with because of that. So I like the fact that you nailed down that 5.5 number, because that does make a big difference for him. Yeah, on the 3, hey there, Brad Cox. Look, he's running well right now. I think 5.5 is a better distance here than 7 furlongs, which we saw last time out. You get Flavian Pratt aboard, who did have a rough weekend. We should talk about the jockeys at some point, because I have some interesting thoughts here on how this jockey colony performed in that first weekend. We have to have our own little Joel Rosario bonfire to discussion here. We could have a TED talk about Joel Rosario and some of the atrocious rides he gave over the weekend, and yet he is leading the jockey standings because he gave some really good rides too. I mean, he went full bell curve in that first weekend. Anyway, look, hey, there makes a ton of sense. I think you pretty much have to use this horse based off that last race. You're going to see this. This one's, probably going to be the favorite, but makes sense to be the favorite. I'm going to go with the bomb on the 5, Minder. This one's interesting. Grand Motion, not great first time out. And that's my biggest knock against the 5. But we're only 6% first time out. But we're getting 15 to 1. I like that. I like the fact that Manny Franco's picking up the mount. He's been riding well. The Dam is what's really interesting to me. So the Dam has 4 wins, all of them in turf sprints, won her debut, was stakes placed. And the foals you see are over 6 combined when you go back to it. One of them was a very cheap sales price, didn't do much. The other ones went for a lot of money, went to the Calhoun barn, ran really well first and second out, lost to Aloha West by less than 2 lengths sprinting. Aloha West, a Breeders' Cup champion. So that horse actually progressed well. So I'm not going to knock the Dam for the two children that came out, and both of them ran very good races first out. So the 5's family all runs well first out. I know Motion doesn't, but the workouts fit, the breeding fits for a turf sprint. I think 15 to 1 is a pretty nice price here in a field that, look, I like the 2, I like the 3. There's not much else in here in my mind. I think that's probably why you're going bombs away as well.
Yeah, I looked a lot at the 5. It was really just the Grand Motion, a combination of 2 things. Grand Motion, really not great first-time starters. Watch this horse for second start, by the way, wherever she goes. If she looks like she's got any kind of talent on the track in this race, look to play her next out. There are 2 similar bombs that I like. One that's a 15 to 1 as well. So I like them a little bit better. I'll start with my top pick, actually, all the way at the bottom. There's the 9 Libretto. I think 8 to 1. I was afraid it was going to be a pipe dream. You didn't use the 9, so that makes me feel a little better. I've seen a lot of love for the filly. I see Nick Feldman's talking about her in the chat. She got 3 starts so far. Her best race was the only time that she tried going 1 turn. came too bad going a mile on the outer turf at Belmont. She got bumped and squeezed way back along the rail, pushed way back farther than she wanted to be, ended up following behind Lakota Spirit the whole way in the stretch. She was left with too much to do, but she was behind Lakota Spirit, didn't lose ground on Lakota Spirit the entire time they were gaining. So I thought that was good. I really thought she could have been a contender for a win with a better break and possibly not drawing the rail. Fourth place finisher with bells on, wins next out with a 77 buyer. But a lot of these two picks are going to come down to the trainers. You love Jorge Abreu. I was a little surprised you didn't use him here. Last 5 years, Jorge Abreu in turf races at specifically 5.5 furlongs, 19%. When he's at Saratoga, 20%. Rosario won aboard a Jorge Abreu firster going 5.5 furlongs on the turf back in 2020. So they don't ride together that often. But when Rosario rides for Abreu at Saratoga, he's connected before. Like I said, I was surprised you didn't use this horse.
Yeah, look, Abreu, his barn was kind of cold at Belmont, and a lot of it was racing luck versus anything else. I think he got a couple bad rides. He had a couple second-place finishes. That's why you see 10%. He's generally a better trainer than that. I think he's primed to have a pretty good Saratoga meet. Look, here's my biggest issue. This horse is 8 lengths back going a mile and 16th. How far back is this horse going to be going 5.5 furlongs? And then you have this issue where, I mean, we're legitimately could be 15, 20 lengths back here going 5.5 furlongs at the half-mile point. This course is not playing to horses that are that deep of closers, especially at 5.5 furlongs. I couldn't include this one because of how slow it is early. I think that is the main issue with the 9 horse.
Yeah, Rosario's going to need to he's going to make sure both feet are in the irons and we're ready to go early when these gates break open. I'm going to go bombs away just to the inside, the 8 horse Temerity at 15-1. We talked about Jorge Abreu, former Chad Brown assistant. Fernando Abreu, that's his younger brother. Both of these guys spent the winter in Florida. Fernando stayed behind at Gulfstream, non-championship meet Gulfstream. Why did Fernando Abreu send this and one other horse up to what is easily a top 4 hardest meet anywhere in the country, unless he thought this horse had some chance? This horse doesn't make any sense being here. If you look at the form or who the trainer is, you think, why is this horse here? Well, Jose Ortiz, assume he's riding for Jorge Abreu. Jorge Abreu is taking care of this horse. It's in his barn. It's just racing under his brother's name right now. But Jose Ortiz and Jorge Abreu, 21% winners. The last 5 years, 50% in the money together. Jose rode the 9 2 starts back, but he's going to end up here. I thought the race 2 starts back on the 9 was its best race. So I think it's interesting that he's going to be here on the 8. And the filly's only turf try, she lost to Diamond Wow. If you remember her, she was Diamond Oops' younger sister that all she did was go off and win a stakes race and go to the Breeders' Cup after that. So I think she's sneaky. I think it doesn't make sense that she's here. And because Jorge Abreu has 2 in here, technically, I'm going to use her because I think I need to use both of them.
Yeah, you also didn't mention that Fernando Abreu owns part of this horse, which makes it even more shady that this horse ends up here.
Oh, he is that? Yeah, that's right. I didn't see that.
So he shipped this horse up and he owns it. So you would expect that they're not going to have you'd think that this horse is live, right? So I don't hate the use here. I thought about the 7. I thought about the 8. I like both of them more than I like the 9. I may add the 8 if we'll see. We'll see how this ticket ends up because I'm at $48 right now.
Things that don't line up, they all line up to this horse being really sneaky here. You know what I mean?
This is another one where if you're at the track or you're watching on Wednesday and this horse is at 7-1, this horse is going to fire. Like this is the one where the board is going to tell you if it's 25-1, then no. But if you're seeing 7-8-1, this horse is going to be live.
Real quick before we move on, the number 4 Bally Dove is the one I didn't use and I'm most worried about. This is Wesley Ward, John Velasquez, turf sprinting in New York at 4-1. Didn't use it. I think there's faster horses and her only way of winning is going gate to wire. What about you?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that we lost at Monmouth. To me, that was the big issue here. You need improvement second off the layoff to be competitive. It definitely could happen. She could try and make the lead. But to me, the fact that you lost is odds on at Monmouth, and now you're coming to Saratoga in a much tougher field. No thanks. Not at 4-1. I mean, again, if this is 15-20-1, it's a different story. But sitting at 4-1, then I can't use this horse just because I think the price is just way too short considering that last effort.
If Paco can't bully ball you to victory at Monmouth Park on the front end, you're not winning at Saratoga. Sorry.
A length and a half up too. Like that's the thing. The horse was a length and a half clear in the stretch.
Oh yeah,
and got caught. That's not what you want to see at Monmouth on a Ward horse.
Especially not a Wesley Ward horse. No, they're supposed to be able to keep going. Third leg, late pick 5 on Wednesday, July 20th at Saratoga. Race 8. We've got 10 fillies and mares 3-up, sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. It says non-winners of 2 other than, or non-winners of 3 lifetime, or optional claiming tag of 62.5. Kind of a mix here. We got a couple entry. Where are you going on top?
I'm going with Smash Ticket, the 2 on top. And this is going to be interesting because I know you're not using this horse. We talked about this horse I think it was a week ago in the Magic Mike show. When this horse was scratched out of a stakes race. 2 weeks ago. So scratched out of a stakes race because of workers' compensation issues with the Fincher barn. So that's the reason why we didn't see Smash Ticket that day. Smash Ticket now breaks from the rail, but has to face Older because they're trying to find a spot because this horse is ready to roll. You see that we switched to the Actress barn. So the barn switched to allow this horse to be able to run in New York.
Yep.
This is really a prep for this horse, and it's an interesting spot. Look, I think Smash Ticket's the real deal. And if I think Smash Ticket's the real deal, I don't really mind that we're facing Older here. Has the ability to stalk, so he doesn't need the lead from that 2 post or the 1 post. Now, it is going to be a little tough to work out a trip from there if you fall too far back. But the fact that we have Carmouche, we're going to be forwardly placed. He's going to send the horse right out of the gate. I believe that Smash Ticket is a very good horse by the way that Fincher treated that horse. We talked about it last time where this horse ran once, then heads to Del Mar because they want a bigger purse for that maiden special weight victory. They take that down and go right into the grade 2. You don't see Fincher do that very often. And Fincher's a very good trainer. That's the thing. A lot of people don't know him, but if you've followed the Texas circuit, Sam Houston, Lone Star, it's a very good, very high percentage trainer. Not a dumb guy. Does not send horses out of Texas often. When he does, you have to respect it. The fact that he did that and didn't just do it anywhere but send it to Del Mar tells me there's a ton of talent here. I'm going to go with the 2 Smash Ticket on top.
Yeah, I went against her because I think this is just ultimately a tough spot for her. There really are no spots for 3-year-old fillies unless there's a stakes, and that bullshit reason for Todd Finch is like, I've got the coverage. It's just not New York specific rules coverage, and it's I know New York has an extremely strict insurance rules, so it really sucks that that's why it's like Emmanuel getting scratched for this stupid reason that happened a couple weeks ago. Anyways, same day? Was that the same day? That was just all one shitty ass.
No, same weekend. Same weekend.
Anyways, let's talk about this. Smash Ticket. Carmouche and Actress, they're 23% the last 2 years. Last year, Saratoga, I didn't remember this. I was like, I think Actress did okay. He was 25% at Saratoga last year. He had 13 wins. 11 of those wins were in the claiming ranks. One was that grade 1 that Maracuja stole from Malathat, the CCA Oaks that she didn't deserve. And then one was in a starter allowance. My point is, Actress does really great at the claiming levels, straight claiming levels. When you move him up, that's where his horses last year were struggling and not doing well. And so to that point, I don't like that she's moving up to face older horses. She's buried on the rail. She's had trouble breaking more than once in her career. And I know Carmouche is a great jockey to get them out of the gate, and that is a plus on her side. But I think breaking from the rail with all of these horses, this is to me the toughest field that she's actually gone to the gate for. We didn't get to see her last race because she got scratched. But to me, this is a really tough spot. And being on the rail when there's multiple speed horses in here that will try to go with her, I think it just sets up poorly for her. And I think she's going to be bet so much that I don't want to use her.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. I think the Actress stats are a little skewed just because this is a really unique scenario where you're switching from one barn to the other in 2 weeks. I mean, and it's not like Actress has had this horse for a long time, and he doesn't get A++ horses, right? He's run a lot of his success is in the claiming game, and that's why he's going to have better numbers there, where he claims off someone, moves the horse up, gets rid of the horse in the claiming ranks again, right? He's not someone who gets $500,000 yearlings in his barn very often, and so I think this is a unique scenario from that front. So I believe that the 2 is going to run a pretty big race here. I actually agree with Nick here. My other horse, I'm only going 2 deep here. Give me that 9 horse. I really like Mischievous Diane here, and this is an interesting one because I don't generally like these type of horses, but that was a huge effort off the layoff last time out, going 6 furlongs and 110 flat. It's an 86 buyer, first out as a 3-year-old. I do love me some Practical Joke, and this horse is by Practical Joke. We're going under a mile, which is a key for Practical Joke. If we take any type of step forward, I think Mischievous Diane is a absolute monster in this spot, could easily take this field gate to wire if the 2 Smash Ticket doesn't send.
My top pick here. Yeah, perfect in both starts at 6 furlongs, improving, drawing outside all the other speed. 4th place horse from last time out earned an 84 buyer, just missing victory by a head. So I think all signs are pointing good for this horse. Dylan Davis has shown the few times that I've watched Aqueduct and Belmont earlier in the year. He's a lot better than I used to remember him being. He's not at the Ortiz, Pratt, Velasquez, Rosario level yet, but he is improving. So I'm not going to knock the horse for having him. I went to 3 deep here. I'll go through them quickly. I used the 6 Betsy Blue at 6-1 for Linda Rice. Overall is 6 for 14 with 12 finishes in the exacta. 12 for 14, first or second. That's pretty good. 3 runner-up finishes and 4 tries at Saratoga. That's pretty good. They all came last year. 3 of those losses came to next out repeat winners. Like, not only did you run into a horse that won that race, they won next race too. So it keeps flattering you. But this horse does like to finish second a lot. As often as she wins, she does get second. The buyers, they are improving as we hit the second half of her 4-year-old year. I think it's interesting. Since Linda Rice got a hold of this horse, she's only trusted 2 riders. Irad Ortiz Jr., and then Jose Lascano. So to me, that says a lot. I'll use the 6, then also the 4, Secret Love at 10-1, get a price. Johnny V's ridden this horse the last 3 starts, 5 times overall, including winning the debut for John Kimmel in 5 starts, 2 wins, and a second for Velasquez aboard. The Phillies 2 for 4 at the distance, pretty good. Only time off the board going 6 came last out. But listen, this horse is taking a big class drop from facing state-bred stakes horses. Last time out, the horses that were top 3 early, they were top 3 late. How the hell is this horse coming from off the pace, supposed to catch the carousels? Don't also forget, she was a stakes winner going 6.5 at 3. So I think if she gets a decent trip, kind of similar to 3 back, when she's stalking horses to get up there, I think I could get her at 10-1 here, Mike.
I don't hate it. I was the 6 was my next up, which I did not make the ticket. My deep ticket horses were the 3 and the 4, so I don't hate it at all. I think the 4's got a shot. The 3 is an interesting one for me. Mm-hmm. It's a Mott horse that's coming in from I think it's Argentina. Coming in from Argentina, ran in Group 1 and Group 2 company there, which is a lower level than what you see here. Obviously, not as talented horses there, but Mott, pretty good first time North America. Not one that you think of like that. You think of Chad Brown. You think of some of the turf trainers here. Mott, pretty good first time North America as well. 20%, small sample size, just 1 for 5, but also very, very good first time Lasix, 26% with a $2.49 ROI. And I think there's a ton of speed in here, and I would expect this horse is not going to show a ton of speed, but is going to try and pick the pieces up. Rosario, a good fit for that. So I kind of like the unknown here, sitting at 10-1. Vicky's asking about Honey Money. Magic, any thoughts on the 5?
Yeah, I assume this horse is going to be juiced out the ass. That's my thoughts on this 5. I'll tell you why. Wayne Potts, the trainer that's formerly had this horse, not allowed to have stalls in Naira. Why? He's a guilty juicer. His assistant trainer, Bonnie Lucas, isn't allowed to claim horses from Naira tracks. Why? She's based in New Jersey. Why is she based in New Jersey and never in Naira, Mike? I wonder. Yeah, this horse is going to be juiced out the ass. I'm just hoping it doesn't win.
Yeah, look, I understand the cutback. It's interesting that Irad takes the mount. That's honestly the scariest part to me here. I would not be playing this horse if it wasn't Irad up. If you like him, demand the price. 12-1 is a pretty good number. So if you like the horse, you can include on your tickets. I don't see a race on the page that wins, and that's my biggest issue. Now, that doesn't mean the horse can't win on Wednesday, but to me, there's no race I can point to and say, hey, that gets the job done, and there are quite a few in here that have some talent, so would need to take a big-time step forward in a rather unlikely spot. So I'm going to avoid Honey Money because of it, but I do have a little interest in the cutback angle as well because, like I said, there's a ton of speed in here, and a lot of times horses that show speed going longer, cutting back can be sneaky horses because they're the ones running late.
Yeah, if you want like legitimate reasons why I didn't use the horse, I think the wins, they all seem to came going gate to wire, and they were slow compared to what she's going to face here. So, she has 6 for 13 on the fast track and 3 for 7 this year. Got a mile stakes win, but I don't think this is the right spot for her. And again, I really, this horse is don't like the fact that this horse is even allowed to run here, but we'll move on. Penultimate leg of the late pick 5 at Saratoga Wednesday, July 20th, race 9. We've got another inaugural running of a stakes race, Mike. This is the Suzie O'Cain Stakes, going to mile 16th on the inner turf course. This is restricted to New York bred 3-year-old fillies. We only have 6 in here, 3 MTOs. It looks like the weather will be clean. So focusing on these 6, I almost singled with the horse that you used. Go ahead and talk about her.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't love singling the 7-5 shot here, but you kind of feel dumb if you didn't single Big Invasion on Sunday, and I think that's kind of the same thing that we have here. I think Suzie O'Cain just is a standout in this spot. There's not any horse that I think is going to have a solo lead that's going to be able to just run away from the field, which is one of the things I'm concerned about when I'm singling a horse like Suzie O'Cain. Rosario in a smaller field, I think that he's going to do a good job riding this horse. He fits this horse's style very well. And then you just look at these 2 efforts. I think she's better at a mile and 16th versus going 7 furlongs. So I'm glad that we're stretching back out. That race 2 back was good enough to win this race. And that was off the layoff. Comes back at 7 furlongs, making a big run. Just doesn't quite get there. Now we're going 2 turns, mile 16th. I think that fits her. I don't really love her doing that 1 turn. I just feel like the Suzie O'Cain is going to be absolutely loaded. Christophe Clement. I mean, it's funny. Slim's like Christophe Clement's ice cold. 4 for 11 for the weekend. That's pretty darn good. I think he had a pretty good weekend. In the money. Yeah, and 10 for 11 or 9 for 11 in the money. Yeah, and then you also have Rosario, who again had some awful rides, but had some really good ones too. And so you kind of have to trust him. When Rosario's riding for Clement, generally it's his top tier. He thinks the horse is going to run well. So I wanted to find a way around here, but the way around here is going to the 3 Lisa's Vision in my mind. And I don't want to play a 7-5 and a 5-2. I'm just going to say I'm going to single the 7-5 shot, keep the ticket a little thinner, and go with Suzie O'Cain on top.
I was trying to find the comment from Nick about that. Right.
What up, Slim?
Hey, there he is. Slim, by the way, let's take a break real quick. Talk about Saratoga Slim. I guess finished editing, but I didn't have time to produce them or publish them yet. But after this video is done, probably another hour or so, Slim was in Ireland. He's in Ireland. I don't know how many people know that. Slim was at Saratoga Friday. He was at the Curragh Sunday in Ireland. So he's out there for work, but he went and interviewed Joseph O'Brien and Aidan O'Brien. Both asked them about some potential Breeders' Cup horses they might have coming. So that'll be on our YouTube channel later. So make sure you check those out. Also, he did a tour of the Curragh, and it's the most gorgeous track I think I've seen footage of. And then he goes, kind of looks like Aqueduct. And I wanted to punch him through the computer screen.
That's
anyway,
the biggest compliment Aqueduct has ever gotten.
Never compare the Curragh to Aqueduct ever again.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. She's a Mia. Yeah, I went too deep here. I used her. All great points. My concern with her is that when she's tried them out on the 16th 2 turns in the past, she hasn't quite gotten there. I know one of them was without Christophe Clement, was with her previous trainer, Cleveland Johnson. But I was a little worried about that. I looked at for lone speed potentially from the 1. I was like, hey, maybe the 1 can go gate to wire. And I looked at the 1's form. And Mike, if she couldn't go gate to wire going for 50K claimers last time out at Belmont, I don't think she's going gate to wire here. So I'm going to have to say she can't hold on. She likes to struggle holding on. And on the 16th, I'm going to use the 4 Classic Lynn, not because I think she goes gate to wire, but this Joe Sharp's got 2 in here. And it almost feels to me like Solib, the 1 horse that he just claimed, she's going to go out there, try and set it on his pace, and it sets up for the 4. It sets up for the 5 as well if that happens. But watch for Tyler Gaffleon to play some games and try and keep the 5 horse behind him to keep that horse in his sights at all times. The horse, we haven't seen her as a 3-year-old. She did debut at Saratoga on the turf course, just missed by a length in that race. Broke her maiden at this trip in her only time trying to go 2 turns. Luis Saez was aboard. She showed good forward placing ability and then just ran on with it when asked. I think she's kind of sneaky. Sharp is 35% off of breaks like this. He's 2 for 2 so far at the meet with Gaffleon riding. So if I can get 4 to 1 or maybe even a little bit better if she gets a little ignored, I think she's a good second use, but the 5 is definitely looks like a solid horse here.
Yeah, I looked at the 4 a long time, and the 1, 3, 4, 5 are the 3, 4 horses that I think make a ton of sense. And this is a 6-horse field, so you just can't go that deep here, especially if you like the favorite at 7 to 5. The 4 scratched out of Sunday's, I think like 7th or 8th race, I believe it was. She was the 11 post. Sharp left in 1 horse in that race. Saez was riding that horse. Gaffleon was supposed to be on Classic Lynn that day as well. So interesting to scratch out an allowance to find ourselves here in a stakes race. So that's a positive sign. My problem is the 4 and the 5 seem like the same horse, right? I mean, like they have the exact same running style. So any setup the 4 gets, the 5 is going to get the exact same setup. And I think the 5 is just better. And like we talk about in sports, the worst thing you can do is play a better version of yourself. Yeah. That's what I kind of feel like you have with the 4 and the 5 here. It's one of the reasons I didn't use the 4.
Maybe that's what attracted me to the 4 because they're right there on the page next to each other. They kind of look similar. 5 definitely has the better buyers, but I know that the preview for this it is up at racingdudes.com and youtube.com/racingdudes. You can see what Aaron thought about the Suzie O'Cain Stakes. But Mike's stealing the 5. I'm going 4-5. And let's move on. The 5th and final leg of that late pick 5 Wednesday at Saratoga on July 20th. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to having a microphone in front of me here. Race 10. We drew a field of 10 maidens, 3 and up, sprinting 5.5 on the outer turf. In for $40,000 tags again. A coupled entry drew the far outside 2 posts. So if you're thinking about a horse, just subtract 1, and that's the actual post they'll be at. Where'd you go on top here?
I went the 3, super quality on top. Second off a layoff, 3-year-old. It's going to be turf sprinting for the second time. The first race debuted 7 furlongs on the dirt, then goes to synthetic, runs a lot better on synthetic, then goes to turf and drops to the maiden claiming level. That's a sneaky good maiden claiming race. Starry Night came back and almost won at a big price in an optional, I think it was an allowance, a $50,000 starter allowance. Was rolling late and just missed. So that race actually gets flattered a little bit in that sense. Super quality, ran well, made the lead, and then Starry Night just ran him down. So with the way that Starry Night came back and the fact that we're at the same level, now we're second off a layoff, should be a little more tuned up. Luis Saez picks up the mount. Give me the 3 super quality on top. This is another horse that I'll be interested in betting to win if we can get somewhere around a 3 to 1 number.
Yeah, I'm with you. My top pick as well. You mentioned Starry Night. A good third last week in the 5.5 furlong starter allowance turf sprint. Matched the 71 buyer that he got for beating super quality. So I like it. I mean, 7 to 1 last out, 7 to 2 here. I understand why we're getting a lower price here. I'm still okay with it. I also like that he has been training at Saratoga since the training track opened. Like they've shipped him out to run elsewhere, but they've kept him training. That tells me, Mike, that from day one, they were like, we want this horse to win at Saratoga. Put him in the right spot when the meet opens. And this feels like the right spot.
Yeah, I think this is a great. They found his friends, right? We'll put it that way again. And this is another good spot for Weaver. I'm also going to use the other Weaver, the 6 horse in here, Blinding Light, 2-1 morning line favorite. The horse was in a $53,000 maiden special weight down at Gulfstream. Showed a ton of speed with Jaramillo. Ends up getting nailed late, running second. Now we're getting onto the turf. This horse is bred to love the turf. I mean, hard spun mare, New Year's Day on the top side with Street Cry. You'd think that this horse is going to pick up that turf pretty well. Franco's probably going to send. This is your speed of the speed. I want that type of horse when we're talking about $40,000 claimers going 5.5 furlongs. So the 6 makes a ton of sense, and it's really logical. So I don't know if there's too much else to say about those two. The price I really liked. Right to the outside, the 7 horse Big Woo. Did you use Big Woo?
I love Big Woo, yeah.
Yeah, all right, good. Look, Wayne Catalano, not wonderful first time in his barn, 0 for 20, okay? I realize that's a problem. But when going from the maiden special weight to maiden claiming level, 22%. First time turf, 23%. Turf sprints, 33%. All of those are very good. Let's talk. Okay, first off, they say this horse was gelded on 7/17, literally yesterday. Do you think that's true? I'm thinking that's not true.
No, I think that's when they had to report it when the at time of entry. So
look at that workout 3 back.
Yeah.
I mean, 46-4 over the turf. It's the only turf workout we have. This horse absolutely blitzed it. Joe Sharp tried to get this horse on turf first time out. The race rains off. The horse runs terrible. But the horse was bet down to 5-1 in that spot. So first off, a little bit of steam on the board. We geld the horse. We add Lasix. We've got a killer workout. And Jose Ortiz randomly picks up this mount. Catalano Ortiz, 1 for 5, $4.92 ROI. There's enough here. There's enough smoke that I think there's fire. I think the 7 Big Woo runs a pretty big race.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said there. Something went wrong after that debut because he disappears for 9 months and we get the big class drop and the gelding, but something went wrong after that race. It's not like the horse is just not racing. He's here. So I think he fits in at 15-1. That was the biggest surprise to me. I was like, why is this horse going to be 15-1? Maybe people will be scared off there. David Aragon is a sharp morning line odds maker. So if he says 15-1, maybe we'll do that. So you and I agree. We went 4 deep here. We each agreed on those 3. Here's where we split off. I'm going to use the 8 Naked and Famous at 8-1. As Vicky says, wins the name game. Hopefully wins this race, but at least wins the name game. Kind of like the other horse that you were talking about, the 6 horse. Speed and Quit on debut. It was going a furlong longer. Adds blinkers, keeps the bug boy drawn outside. Now he quit a lot harder than the 6 did. I'll give him credit for that one. When he quit hard. But Jose Gomez is going to get that 5-pound break. Rudy Rod 23% together. So. Yeah, I like this horse at 8-1, but I know you didn't use the 8. Why not?
No, I didn't. Actually, I'm going to switch my horse I used anyway. I didn't use the 8. My biggest issue, first off, the Rudy Rod barn is ice cold to start out Saratoga. It was actually cooking pretty good at Belmont, but it's had some trouble here at Saratoga. I don't love it when a horse from Rudy Rod's barn doesn't get bet at all first time out, and this horse didn't, especially when they have speed. So the 20-1 fact in the first start was not a wonderful thing for me. It was on the inside, so give him some credit there. Second out, first turf, there's enough here that I'm kind of concerned that we don't have a runner, and the fact that they don't go to someone else, that they stick with the bug, was the other issue for me. If this was a big time horse, I think you would have gotten a call from Saez, from Irad, from someone where they say, hey, we want to get a big time jockey in here, and that was enough to kind of keep me off the 8. I'm going to go with the 1. The entry actually is my 4th horse, so I got to adjust my ticket a little bit. I had the 4 on here, and I kept going back and forth, but I don't really want to use the 4 because I think there's better speed in here, and neither of those numbers from the 4 are good enough to win this race. You're going to need to see some improvement third off the layoff, so we're going to chuck them out. We're going to go with the 1, which is a little more of an unknown, and specifically, I like the 1A. It's a horse that's going to be second out in the Mott barn, dropping into maiden claiming after being in a maiden special weight last time out. Picks up Rosario, which I think is a definite positive, but look at that work. Blitz is a 35-3 on July 16th to get ready for this race. And that tells you that they're going to have this 1A keyed up and ready to go. You call Rosario, you get him on the horse, you have an awesome work on the Mott barn, which is something the Mott barn not necessarily known for. That 3 furlong blowout right before a race kind of tips the hand that they want this horse ready and raring to go. So I'm going to throw in the 1A, specifically the 1A, onto my ticket.
I didn't end up using, but there's a lot of reasons to like it. It's a very intriguing horse to see what happens. And if this was a maiden special weight, I would say don't use. But maiden claiming, coming into this spot, this feels like a good place to try it. Taking the big class job. Look who the horse faced on dirt. Mo Donegal, the Belmont Stakes winner.
That's all.
That's all.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
All right, that's good. This episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to talk about Saratoga's Late Pick 5 on Wednesday, July 20th. Remember, if you are going to be playing and you haven't yet, sign up at betptc.com using promo code DUDES, DUDES. You'll get a $200 bonus after you bet $750. And if you bet enough pick 5 to Saratoga, that $750 comes pretty quick, Mike. But here's our tickets. We won't get you to $750 that quickly here, but I'll start off. I'm going to go 2-5 with 3-8-9 with 4-6-9 with 4-5 with 3-6-7-8. That's $72. And then, sorry, yours wasn't ready. Whenever you're ready, pop it back up there.
All right, I'm actually adding, so we're both going to be $72 here.
Okay.
I'm going to go 1-2-4-5 with 2-3-5-8 with 2-9 with 5 with 1-A-3-6-7. That'll cost you $72 as well. I added the 8 there. It was the Jose Ortiz horse we talked about at 15-1 in that second leg. That's why my ticket got bumped up. This is a fun little sequence, and like one of the things that I've been texting with Dr. Tang about as well. You don't have to try and avoid singling favorites if you're able to string together 7-8 to 1 shots in the other legs. If you're confident in that favorite, Big Invasion, a great example of that.
Question. I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to bring this up. You being at Saratoga, Vicky asked, any thoughts on how the track is playing at Saratoga so far? You did say that everything's been pretty lightning quick.
Yeah, the turf course has been very, very fast. The dirt course is very deep. It was interesting that the first day, Dwayne Lucas coach, after his horse lost, he said that she wasn't ready, that she just wasn't ready to handle the depth of the track at Saratoga, and it tired her out. And that was one of the reasons she wasn't able to get the job done. He said she will be ready closing day for the stakes. Yeah, I think the dirt's playing very fair. You've seen horses win from closing. You've seen horses win from the middle. You've seen horses win from up front. The turf course, I feel like has been very fair, but very fast, which makes it a little harder to close in some scenarios. So I don't want like the deep closers seem they haven't been doing very well, but those middle pack closers seem to have been very successful. So I'm looking for someone who is more forwardly placed on the turf right now. The dirt seems pretty fair. Magic, you're muted.
I just saw that. Sorry, I thought I'd catch it before you said something there. Everybody's saying that went so fast. I don't know. I thought we've gotten pretty good at getting this timed. I didn't think we went too fast. I think Shadi's just sad because it was the first time that she showed up in a while. And she's like, it's over already. Tell you what, how about this? Let's go over the rails real quick because I got a question for you.
No antics of any kind except speed, and there we go with the antics.
Oh, God, memories. I love that clip. Listen, big news. We texted about it. Bluey Season 3 is coming out soon, Mike. I do want to know, first of all, are you frozen? You look frozen.
I am frozen. Can you hear me, though?
I can hear you. Okay.
That's weird.
This is all right. So Mike's just frozen. But hey, all right. So Bluey is coming out Season 3. What are some of your favorite Bluey episodes so far?
Okay. I'm trying to fix the camera here. Okay, so favorite episode, the bike episode is phenomenal. It's called The Bike, right? Where the Bluey learns to ride her bike. And it goes over like failing and trying again. There's a hilarious one with a dog with really short arms that tries to get on the rings, and then you've got the wiener, and then you've got Bingo who's tried to get water, and then the backpack is hilarious as well. So that the bike is up there. The other one I really like, Shadowland. That's also an excellent episode. The Claw is a very good episode. I mean, there's just Bluey's excellent because you can try and just run through it, and you can actually enjoy the show and not just like sit there and zone out as you're watching it with your kid.
And by the way, on that note, if you're not sure what we're talking about, that means you don't have young children. Bluey is a BBC Australia show that's animated and is on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, pretty much from a kids show perspective, there's Bluey, and then there is everything else. It's its own stratosphere of like excellence from a kid show. And if you're bored and you're watching Bluey, they insert a long dog into every single episode. Can you find the long dog in each episode? So it's a good way to keep yourself entertained as it's going on. It's either in the clouds or it's on the shelf or they put it somewhere. Every single episode, they have a long dog.
So Colson, my son, loves Bluey so much. We had a Bluey themed first year birthday party, which I don't know that he noticed, but we loved it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, that's Bluey. If you're watching, if you don't know, hey, there you go. Shadi says she loves Bluey. It's like 5-6 minutes long. Lots of great songs. Yeah, Biggie says I'm Googling trying to figure out what the hell you're talking about.
Honestly, even if you don't have a kid, it's worth watching. Baby Race. So I don't know if you saw Baby Race yet. My wife like literally just started crying in the middle of Baby Race.
That was the first one you had us watch when Bluey's she's telling Bingo about Bluey developing differently. Yeah.
Yeah, because all the kids develop differently. And so, like, Baby Race is about specifically the mother of the family and how she felt pressure to have her child walk faster than other mothers who had babies around the same time. And it's just a really, there's a lot of positive vibes in this whole show. It's definitely worth checking out, even if you don't have a kid, although it probably is not as wonderful as if you do have a kid.
My favorite, because that's my favorite song, too. We put the soundtrack on all the time for, like, trips to daycare to keep him calm. The Grannies. The Grannies one is just, like, the level of creativity that they go to in that episode. Anyways, that's Bluey. Go check it out if you haven't yet. Have you seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet?
I have not. I am in a Facebook group called Nice Parking Spot Rita, where it is all pictures of Bluey fans posting parking spots that they put in there. And one time I posted Jenna's parking spot, and she allowed me to. She said it was okay because it was so terrible. It was literally in 3 different spots. But yeah, it's called Nice. Again, if you haven't seen this, go watch the Grannies episode, and you'll get the Nice Parking Spot Rita part.
Nice parking spot, Rita. Anyway, sorry. I didn't want to do that, and you made me do it. Thank you so much for joining Mike and I.
Real quick, I'm cutting you out. I'm super excited for House of Dragon as well. Looking forward to that one. That's a very good show. Magic and I could probably do a pop culture podcast because we both like love the same television stuff as well. Miss Marvel was excellent, by the way. Anyone who wasn't watching that, and we got to talk about this one more horse racing thing because I think that's kind of important. Where is it? Here it is. The jockeys.
Oh yes, thanks, Nick.
Let's talk opening weekend here and how the jockeys fared. So, do you want to tell us why your boy Flavian can't win a race?
Dude, Saratoga's tough. It is, I would say, top 4 toughest meets, and I say that because I'm also counting the 2 Keeneland meets that are very tough, and Kentucky Downs is a crapshoot. So Saratoga is the toughest meet that's longer than 2 weeks and not up and down hills. That's why Flavian Pratt's struggling, is my reason.
He got nipped at the wire twice, which again, he's not used to the course, so you're going to see that more likely at the courses that he's not raced at before. So we'll give him that little bit one, but. What really shows is the depth of the jockey colony, where you have Joel Rosario, Velasquez, Franco, Davis, and I didn't mention the Ortiz brothers specifically because it's that middle to bottom tier that is so much better than out in California that those jockeys can run. Like Franco can jump up and win 2 in a day. Velasquez can jump up and win 2 in a day. And it's the depth there makes it a lot harder to be consistently great. That's why you got to really respect what Irad's done. I still think Flavian will turn this around. I don't think that you're going to see him win 2 a weekend. And I don't think you're going to see Rosario win 7 a weekend either. But man, there were some interesting rides overall. But I think it's wild that Joel Rosario is leading the jockey race right now. And literally his ride on Darien is the worst ride I've ever seen in my life. It was so terrible. And then the next race, he just wins on it. I think it was, 10-1 shot, that 10 horse he wins very next time out. It's just wild to see how inconsistent he can be in a single card.
Like Nick said, Twitter went off on Rosario on Thursday. And then literally the next race, and for the next 1.5 days, went hard as a mother on everyone. Yeah. We were watching it in real time, Nick. We watched it.
It's wild because you feel like Darien was going to blows my mind. Yeah, City Man is the horse he ran on the next race. Darien was the best horse in that race. If you go back and watch it, it's wild. The horse breaks 5th and was last at the 16th pole and ran 3rd. It's like, what are you doing, buddy? How did we get our horse in so much damn trouble? Unbelievable.
Vicky said watching Irad pin Flavian on the rails has been hysterical. I said that when the meet started, that I was like, Chad's starting to turn back towards Irad with some of his better horses. And Irad is, ever since, what was it? Memorial Day weekend, when he came to California and just beat up on Flavian, he was pissed about Keeneland. And I think he's still a little pissed about it. So as bettors and horse racing fans, this is just exciting for us.
Man, credit event, great example. Credit event gets Pratt, comes in second at Belmont. Irad wins by open lengths on that horse and makes it look like a monster. Now, I think this is, again, we talked about this a little bit on Dudes Who Bet Daily. When you're handicapping Saratoga, you almost need to, not ignore the Belmont turf form, but definitely a grain of salt because those tracks are so different. A mile and 16th is like a 1 1/4 turn race, where the mile and 16th at Saratoga is 2 tight turns. I mean, horses are going to handle those tracks differently. You cannot be handicapping the 1 turn, the mile on the turf at Belmont is so different than a mile on turf at Saratoga. You got to take a look at how the horses have done going 2 turns because that could be a big difference, and horses handle that wildly different.
Yeah, Nick, I can't find it, but Nick did say that in the chat, so I'm glad you brought that up. Before we get here, real quick, Michael Austin, you've been great in the chat. He brought this up. I'm going to get back to it. Race 1 Wednesday, we have our first steeplechase race at Saratoga. I literally can't watch steeplechase because every time a horse falls, I freak out. even though the 99% of the time they're okay. Anyways, I don't handicap them. Do you handicap them? And if so, how?
Honestly, I'm not very good at it, so I don't do it all that much. I mean, it's really just the Saratoga races that I handicap. What I look for are trainers with two, the and specific trainers I like. So Carrie Bryan has done very well over the years for me. She's handicapping the 7 horse in this race, Iraniston. I don't know, but she's a very, very good trainer. And then I look at the running lines, and I try and find long shots that have run well against favorites. It's really just kind of the most simple ways to do it. I don't bet very much on these. I'm going to play a $2 exacta with a 1 horse over 2 horses and try and get at least a 15-1 in there to see if we can just kind of blow it up and start the day for some fun, or play some small pick threes if I like the first 2 races around the short track.
Yeah, if you're betting this race, best of luck to you. I have no idea. I'm sure there are people who know how to do this. It's not me.
It's not me.
It's not me. I will say the one thing that I remember from last year, you mentioned her, Carrie Bryan, and she got 3 of the horses in here, 4, 5, and 7. She's the one that did really well here at Saratoga last year. So find one of those that you like, I guess. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, and I
Down Royals 3 for 4 at Saratoga, and it's 5-1. There you go. There's your winner, number 2.
I kind of like the 4 horse too, historic car. I mean, you mentioned this, but like the horse ran very well in the 3 previous races, jumped up the Grade 1 company, and ended up not finishing the race. That's the reason you're getting 9-2, right? Not a shorter price. So a lot of times the same angles that I use in general races, the non-steeplechase races, I'll go back and I'll use in the steeplechase races and hope that they can find me a price.
Last thing, we'll get out of here real quick. I'm going to make you choose, gun to your head, Taba or Jack Christopher in the Haskell. Well,
apparently Taba's not running. Like that's the rumor going around now is that Taba's got a fever and not going to go. Yeah, we'll see. If Taba goes, I'm probably picking Taba.
Jared and I were talking about it. He's with Bab Baffert now. Even if he's not your top pick, eat chalk and put those 2 on there. Like you've got to have Taba on because you don't know what's going to happen. Let's see.
My problem.
Sorry, go ahead.
Jack Christopher is going to. It's like the hype train has already left the station. It's completely full. You got people trying to run it down so they can jump onto it. Like Jack Christopher is going to be 3-5 in that race, 2-5. And he's never going 2 turns. It's way too short of a price for a horse. Never going 2 turns before. Yeah, he's got the talent. He's got the breeding. Totally get it. I can't swallow 2-5, 3-5, especially when Taba's sitting there and you saw what he did at the Santa Anita Derby. Like. We all knew the Kentucky Derby was too fast too soon, but you still saw the talent and thought the horse could win it. And now you have the situation where you're like, okay, now we've got a little more time to develop. We've already seen success at 2 turns. Messier is no slouch. That's who we ran down in Santa Anita Derby. Like I don't understand the difference in the price. And I think that's the main reason I'll be on Taba.
I'm looking for this Taba stuff to see. All I've found is that one account has said that that the horse is.
I've seen 3.
I don't know. I can't find jack shit about this yet.
I've seen 3 things on Twitter, but I think they're all through the same contact that they're getting information from, which isn't always right. So, we'll see what happens, right? Yeah, we'll see if he ends up showing up or not. I hope he does. I think it's gonna be a heck of a race if he does. I think horses what the strategy is going to be interesting as well. Jack Christopher's going to the lead. Does Taba go too? He didn't in the Santa Anita Derby. Is this a situation where he wants to go instead? And if he does, all of a sudden horses who probably aren't as good, but are good horses like Wade Barrio, who's getting Joel Rosario for that race, become players in that spot because those 2 could cook each other if they both go.
I'm going to go with Jack Christopher for now, but Taba, if he shows up, you've got to give him some credit. Anyways, thanks for the love. We did go a little long here, but appreciate it. We love all of you, so that's why we do it. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back on Thursday with a are we doing Saratoga, or do you want to do? You're going to be at Monmouth. Do you want to do Haskell weekend,
or do we do Del Mar?
Oh, Del Mar weekend. I already forgot about that.
We got so many options. It's a wealth of riches. Yeah, I'll be at Monmouth on Saturday too. So if anyone's out there, check it out. I'll be hanging out over at the ABR booth. Make sure you come and say hi.
Haskell this weekend. The United Nations at Monmouth is this weekend. The CCA Oaks is this weekend. We've got Nest versus Secret Oath 2. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you visit racingnews.com. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Curtis Kalleward. He is at Somobomb 18, number 1, number 8. Corporate Overlords at racing_dudes. Until Thursday, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Actually, until Wednesday, when we'll see you at noon Eastern for the next Dudes Who Bet Daily. Until then, take care, everybody.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,